clocks and how they are made. But first, I will start by showing you a replica of the first clock that was made here in 1640. It's a very simple clock made completely out of wood. And inside there are 3 wooden wheels as a mechanism. Down here we have a stone for weight, which you have to wind up at least 2 times every day. And on the top there is a wooden beam as a balance to adjust the speed of the clock, because pendulums weren't known back then. And also, as you can see, this one has only 1 hand, so sometimes they had to do a little guessing with the time. So can you tell me what time is showing now?
Still,
It's 8:10. 8:10.
8:10.
2 something, yeah. 240 is maybe a little bit too
no,
much.
220.
8:10
Yeah, 220 I would say. Because this
Yeah.
is 2 here,
and 20.
It's down a little bit.
and the dot under would be 230. So it's in between those two,
It's between-
215 or 220, right? Which means you could be 20 minutes late at work and nobody would know, right? But it's a first generation here, no cuckoo, no sound version. But then around 1720, they started to make these clocks with painted face known as shield clocks. Now they have 2 metal weights, pendulum, and 2 hands, so they're more accurate. And inside they have these metal mechanisms, which are made out of brass and stainless steel. But what is important here, for the first time we have a cuckoo coming out. And he comes out 1 time in every half hour, but on the hour, he counts the time. So 5 o'clock 5 times, 10 o'clock 10 times, and so on.
5 times.
And here we have a special shield. You see on the top this poor guy working in his workshop, and behind him there's a lady. And she's got something like this in her hands.
Yes.
So let's see what will happen on the hour. So she hits it in the head and doesn't know. 6 o'clock 6 times in the head. And this is also known as a mother-in-law clock. Then the first cuckoo clock with carvings appeared around 1860, and it was this one here which is known as a train station clock. It was at the time when trains started coming to the Black Forest, and also the design on the front represents railway tracks. Then after some time they started to make clocks with more carvings and more details like this one. And to make something like this it takes around 6 to 8 weeks. And now let's see how they're made. First step is to choose the wood. And this is known as a lime, some call it basswood or linden wood, it's all the same. It's a very soft wood ideal for carving, which has to be dried for around 2 years. Once the wood is dried, we take a stencil, put it onto the wood, and spray the shapes which we have to cut out. And these shapes are cut out using a saw. It is the only part of clock making where machinery is. Everything else is done by hand. Once the shapes are cut out, we have something like this, and then we can start to carve. And carvings are done by local people here in the Black Forest, mainly during the winter months, so there's some extra money. And they are using around 40 different tools and chisels, similar to these ones we carve. Sometimes we also use tools like this one here. You know what it is for? Inspiration. So with a little bit of inspiration, the right tools, we have carvings like this. Nowadays we have different families doing different carvings here in the Black Forest. So each person will do a different part. For example, one person will do this front frame, and the other one will do the top part. At the end, they are all sent to the assembly point where they fit it onto this basic house. So we have a front frame like this, and on the top, of the cushion. And this is how a front face of a small cuckoo clock looks. But this is not all. Inside, we have to put the mechanisms. And there are 4 different types of it. This one here we call one-day mechanism. And that means you have to wind it up at least 1 time every day, and it's powered by 2 small weights, like this one here. This one is an 8-day mechanism, also called it wheel weight, and you have to wind it up at least 1 time in every 8 days, and it's powered by 2 bigger weights, like this one. So you maybe notice difference between the 2 in the middle and the 2 at the edges is this and this part. Does anyone know what is this for? Any ideas?
No.
No? This is where we have people dancing here on top. So it's an 8-day and 1-day mechanism, but for clocks with music. And they have 3 weights instead of 2, because each weight has its own functions. One weight is for the cuckoo, one for the time, and if it has a third one, that one is for music and other movements. Okay. Now how to wind them up? That's very simple. Let's see here. Just grab the chains, pull them down till the waist get it off. Okay, very simple. Once a day for clocks with small weights, or once a week for clocks with bigger weights. And now, maybe most interesting part is how we get the cuckoo sound. In each clock there are two bells with two different tones. This one and this one. So when we play them together, we have a cuckoo sound. Medium-sized bellows for medium-sized cuckoo clocks. For bigger clocks, we have bigger bellows and they have deeper sound. And small ones, which we call baby cuckoos. Also, each clock has a switch on the side, so you can turn off cuckoo music, for example, at night when you sleep, so it doesn't wake you up. But nowadays, we also have battery-operated clocks, and they have cards mechanism inside, which you don't have to wind up at all. You'll recognize them by looking at the weights. They have weights which are made of wood or plastic, so they're very light. They're just for decoration. All in all, we have around 150 clocks.
Put the microphone on.
Yes, I'm almost finished. Yeah.
That for the next
For
one.
the next one. Okay, so we have around 150 clocks here. They all have 2 years international warranty. In India, we have 2 service stations in Mumbai and Bangalore. Okay, so if anything happens, you can always service it there. And the battery clocks, they also have a light sensor on the side. So at night, whenever it's dark in the room, they automatically shut off. They don't make any sounds. So all the clocks you see on the wall by your right are the battery-powered ones. And all the ones you see on the wall by your left are the mechanical ones, the ones you have to wind up or pull the chips. So that will be all for me. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you.